In this video, we're going to give this little end table a makeover. I'm going to be using decoupage paper on the front of this piece, and I almost always do a white base coat beneath that because it lets the image on your decoupage paper really pop. Okay, so I've decided to put this owl. This is recycled paper called the Owl, and it's by artist Lexi Grenzer. She does a lot of the recycled papers, a lot of my favorites. And I'm putting it on the front of this end table, which I've already painted white. There's 2 coats of white swan on there. And I painted it white because it lets the paper really pop. So I've already kind of laid this out how I want it. Just making sure it's kind of straight here. And I'm just gonna put a couple pieces of tape just to hold the paper where I want it so it doesn't shift when I'm trying to apply it. And I'm going to work my way from the top to the bottom. I'm going to use, this is DIY Paints Clear Patina. I'm going to use that to apply the decoupage. And I'm just going to squirt it right on there. No sense dirtying a bowl when I don't have to. More. Let me just check any dry spots or super thick areas. I want it to be a nice even coat. Working relatively quickly. I want to make sure that really gets in there. What I did was I just took a wad of saran wrap and I just rubbed it down, still gently, but this lets you rub any wrinkles or bubbles out without tearing your paper. Kind of helps that friction. So I'm just going to zoom this in a bit. Oops. Started to, I didn't close it, it started to dry up. So these drawers are sitting down a little bit. So once paper dries, because I'm going right over everything, once the paper dries, I will cut these edges out, and I'll have to touch up the edges of the paper. Make sure there's decoupage medium underneath. I've been wanting to use this paper since it came out. This is the first time I've used it. Sometimes you just don't get the chance at the retailers. I'm kind of firmly but gently at the same time getting it into this groove here. You don't want to tear the paper. And it might look a little bit, I don't know if you guys can see, there's some wrinkles, but as it dries, as the paper dries, it then kind of shrinks back and most of these wrinkles will go away. There's actually not that much. Saran wrap really helps. Just trying to make sure you get a nice even coverage. Thick spots can cause problems and thin spots cause problems. You don't want air bubbles or anything like that under your paper. So the paper doesn't quite fit across. Width-wise, but that's okay. The reason I chose this paper is because I wanted to paint this table with color, but I wanted to do some fun decoupage on it as well. So there's so much amazing color in this paper that I get best of both worlds here. Okay, and this is, see how this is kind of wrinkling around the edges? I'm just gonna give this little opening here, just a little spritz with water. And that will, it stretches, and then it'll kind of dry together and not cause. No, perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna go over the whole thing with a top coat of Decoupage medium. Remember, when you're doing decoupage, you could use your favorite water-based sealer. And you're basically sandwiching your decoupage paper in between coats of that sealer. Go. Now we're going to let that dry, and then we will come back and we will trim off all this excess, and then we'll be ready to start adding color. It's all dry, and most of the wrinkles are gone. They just shrink and disappear. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to sand those edges, and we're going to slice I have to get a sharp knife, but so now we're going to sand these edges off, and basically just a sanding block, and I'm going to go just pulling down. That's the paper. Perfectly. And then you have this nice clean edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get that all done. Actually, I'm just going to do this quick. Okay, so that's an easy way to do that. And now I have this X-Acto knife that I'm hoping is going to be sharp enough. And I'm just going to kind of cut this in the middle of the gap. If you try to do this step when the paper is still wet, it will just tear and make a mess. So always wait until it's dry before you do this. And it cuts nice and easy. And I'm not worried about being all perfect because I'm going to use the sanding block method to clean up these edges as well. There must be paint or something. Okay, and because I have no handles, get that out with it sitting like that. These drawers have little spring plastic tabs to keep the drawers from being able to be pulled right out. So that's kind of handy. All right. Set those aside. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing and I'm just going to clean up these edges. Okay, so it's all sanded, and now we'll put these drawers back in. Perfect. This is all ready to go, and I want to start painting. And I'm going to be using the turquoisey kind of colors for now. I'm going to be doing a lot of layering on this piece. I think that's my plan. And I'm using DIY paint in Bohemian Blue, which is just gorgeous. And I'm going to be using a little bit of mermaid tail as well, I think. Okay, it's all cleaned. And now I'm just going to paint it with crinoline. And I'm gonna give it 2 coats. And try again. Okay, so we have 2 coats of crinoline, DIY Paints crinoline on here now as a base. I want to try to kind of carry this through. We'll see how that works. I am not Lexi Grenzer, so I do not have her skills, but I'm just going to attempt something here. So I've got a bunch of my colors out, and I'm hoping I can make this work. Okay, so this is where I'm kind of at so far. I've been playing with extending this edge of the owl decoupage paper around the side of this cabinet. Decoupage paper is on the front. I'm going to see if I can see. I'm just wrapping it around the edge. I know that's really hard to see, but it's the best I can do with camera angles right now. And I've got it laying flat because I wanted to kind of create this little watercolor effect right here. So now I want it to dry, and then I'm going to stand it up and I can work more on the drippy to kind of emulate what Lexi has done here on this paper. See how it's all drippy from the owl? So I'm gonna try to emulate that. But this has to dry. One thing about doing stuff like this is things have to dry in between your layers. Otherwise you just end up with a big muddy mess. So stay tuned. Okay. So I have given this a coat of clear patina, DIY Paints clear patina, because it's a sealer and it will protect what I've already done. So as I'm working here, it won't reactivate this because I am using DIY paint and that reactivates. So I have all my little paint colors back out here again. I have, if you want the list, this is White Swan, Crinoline, Queen Bee, Summer Crush, Layered Chocolate, Weathered Wood, and Little Black Dress. And on this side, I have Hey Sailor, Kissing Booth, Salty Kiss, Mermaid Tail, and this one is Bohemian Blue. So if you got all that, in case you were wondering. So I'm going to go with, I want to extend this color right here. Remember, this is what I'm going off of. I'm trying to see in the camera here if I'm showing you what I want to show you. So this part right here is right here. So I'm trying to just conjure up my own version of what would have come next. Yeah, so trying to emulate Lexi Grenzer here, and I am not Lexi. She is wicked talented, and I'm just copying her. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just to expand this that way and wrap it around this edge. So I've got this extra sheet of the decoupage paper. I've paper clipped it to a piece of cardboard so I can lean it up and look at it. So I'm gonna start up here, and I'm going to give it a little spritz of water, because water always helps. And I'm going to, we'll see how this works out. Ooh, that is really, really bold. We'll add some more water to our brush. I am going to be standing this piece up so I can get some drips as well. I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter, try to lighten this up just a bit. Basically just applying the color, and then I have my water, and I'm going to kind of use the force of the spray to move that a little bit. Just gonna dab that a little bit. And sometimes a blow dryer helps. What the blow dryer does, or what I find the blow dryer does, is it moves it around very randomly, and it also will give you, it'll kind of stop the run. If you've got something, you can use, sorry guys, I'm thinking as I'm trying to talk, and I'm not super awesome at that. You can also use, this is an embossing heat gun. So this has no real pressure, it's basically just heat. And if I go with this now, it's not going to move that water, but it's gonna dry it so it doesn't move around on me anymore, and it kind of stays where I put it. And it changes how it looks too as it dries. I like this kind of watercolor effect on stuff. I like how it's just very, very, very random. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of that over here. how the spritzing it with the water kind of softens the edge? You can also tell if your piece is not quite level by where that wants to move. So I'm just kind of propping it up because I don't mind that it's coming down, but I don't want it to come down too much. Not yet. Any of you watercolor artists out there, this is probably painful to watch. My sister being one of them. But I'm just doing what I do, which is wing it. Okay, I want that to move back a little bit. And then I want to try to stop it from moving. I saw somebody using, I think it was Lynn Brundage from L&J Goods. I saw her using this little heat tool that I'm using now. And I thought, holy crap, she has like a silent hairdryer. Where did she get that? I'm not gonna lie, I searched on Amazon and everywhere, Googled everything to try to find this silent hairdryer, until I realized it was actually a craft tool designed for embossing. Needless to say, I ordered one. And now I just dropped it. back. So I'm just going to show you how this is working so far. So here is the front, and it just wraps around the side. So it's not as dark, I don't think, but I'm gonna add some drips now. See how, sorry, I don't wanna make anybody sick. See how there's these drips down the owl? I'm gonna add a little bit of that. So that's the plan. If I can get cameras set up so you can see. Okay, so we are on the top. I want to do the same little watercolor idea on the top. So we are going to give that a go, but I want to kind of emulate these colors. So this is the top of, well, kind of right there. So I want to kind of mimic that, so that it flows up onto the top. Okay, so now I have made a little white swan slurry, and I'm just going to splatter.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this project inspired you to get out there and try one of your own. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments and I will answer them. Thanks again.